All right, what's going on, guys? It's man Keith Pry here. I'm here with Mr. Trey McCracken. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going? Good to be here.
Awesome. So this is gonna be our very first video we're doing together. Today's topic is talking about is college still a good option in 2023? So, Mr. Trey, I know you went to MTSU, so give me your overall answer real quick. Do you think that college is still a good option come 2023?
Well, there's no yes or no answer. I can't just give you a black and white answer there because, you benefit from either way. Some people have amazing experience. Some people have horrible experience. You can really mess up your life in a span of, 3 to 4 years. And then you can also meet great people. You can get a great degree, have just unlimited success from college. So, my personal experience, I enjoyed it. I had a fun time at college. I met a lot of great people, and I took away a lot from it. In my personal, years at college, it led me to where I am right now. And I'm not saying I'm in a, prime position where I want to be because I'm not happy.
If you guys don't know, this man's the up-and-coming #1 life insurance agency in Middle Tennessee. If you didn't know yet, that's who this guy is.
That's the goal.
That's awesome. So question, your parents go to college as well? Were they a big influence on you going to school?
Right, yeah. So, my parents both graduated. Mom's a nurse practitioner, went to Vanderbilt. Dad played college baseball, transferred, went to Belmont, followed my mom here in Nashville. And, they both, live the corporate dream, still working, both in their mid-50s, and that's just the route that they decided to go, and we're comfortable, we're happy. There's been no doubts, there's no what am I going to eat, there's no negatives. I've lived a very fortunate life so far.
That's pretty good. So why didn't you follow your parents' life as far as following the corporate ladder that they've already have laid out before you?
It's not that I didn't want to follow it. It was more or less I wanted something different for myself. I've always had big goals. I never knew how I wanted to achieve them, but the dream was always there. I always have said I want to, retire, be able to walk away from my job in my 30s. And people laugh at me. They always laugh. And I just have no, good answer as to how I'm going to achieve it. I just know that's what I wanted to do. And with life insurance, I've found that, those goals are very obtainable through you becoming your own business and being a business owner at the age of 24. That's
awesome. So how did you find out about life insurance? On Google? Friends told you about it?
Yeah, so I was originally in financial advising.
Okay.
That's still my long-term goal.
So that's what you went to school for was
finance. Yeah,
okay.
Finance. So I knew about the industry. I just saw financial advising to be so much more appealing because I love money.
Okay.
I love money. I love helping people invest. I love, in my college house, I lived with 5 roommates.
Okay.
And I'm teaching them how to day trade. I'm teaching them how to trade options. We're waking up at 8:30 in the morning. We're just buying calls, doing stuff. We're making hundreds of dollars before we even eat breakfast. So that's where I found the most interest. And my side of things, what I'm into. But I transitioned that because I like to help people, and life insurance is all about helping people. I can have a lot easier time being as young as I am. Hey, let me sell you a life insurance policy that you're going to pay on, God forbid, for years. And that's a lot easier for me to help a family do that rather than let me manage $1 million of your assets. And they're like, who are you and what credentials do you have? You know what I'm saying?
100%. So I want to go back a few. When you was a kid, what kind of enticed you to want to do more? I know you say you had your parents who lived the corporate world. What kind of did you see in your environment or something on the movie or TV that showed you, oh, hey, I want more out of life to make you search and want to become go to school for finance? Because most people hear finance and they kind of run from that.
Right.
So talk about that a little bit for me.
Yeah, nothing nothing that just drove me. I've never had a mentor. I've never had somebody stand out and be like, I want to be just like him. That's never happened. It mostly is just fantasy and movies and, Wolf of Wall Street. Everybody wants to live that, riding on their own yacht.
Favorite movie all time. Favorite movie all
Great
time.
movie.
Hands down.
But, what I'm saying, like, I've had, everything handed to me.
Okay.
Lived a very comfortable life, going a very middle-class life. Never had any struggles, but at the same time, I've never seen somebody firsthand, just pull up in a Lamborghini or something like that.
Okay.
And, I mean, when you think about it, I want it to be different. I, may not ever be at that level, but at the same time, I'm going to die trying. Because worst case scenario, I just get that 9-to-5 job is my mentality.
So where does that grind come from that really keeps you fired up? Because I said if you had no struggles growing up, where's that fire that want more than just the status quo?
I don't think it's past. I think it's future.
Okay.
Is what drives me. Is where am I going to be this time next month? Where am I going to be this time next year? Where am I going to be 5 years from now? Okay. I like to look at it as, more daily drives rather than I can just sit here and I can dream about, where I'm going to be in 5 years. But I have to work to get there. 100%. So I like to focus from day to day more than let me dream. Let me sit here and tell you my dream about where I want to be and how I want to be pulling up in this fancy car.
100%.
Yeah. So.
Gotcha. So I'll kind of get back to the topic we had talking about college. One of the reasons why I wanted to ask you about college is simply because so many people have their own ideology when it comes to college and how beneficial it can be. And once again, I know from most of our older parents who kind of pushed us into college, that was like the only option. It was no go into sales or start your own business. Right. It was simply, hey, we go to college to move forward. So if you had to give advice to, someone that's 18, 19 or getting ready to go through the process next 2 years, even though you're technically kind of using your degree but not directly, would you still give advice that college is definitely the way to go?
Absolutely. I mean, where I'm coming from, this goes back to, being middle class. I've never seen somebody just wealthy, like just ridiculous wealthy. I see more of work hard, work until you're 62 and retire. And that kind of backdates because I never experienced somebody with that kind of money. So I was never told to not go to college. I was never told there was other ways to, make a living. I was just told, hey, go get a job, go work and retire. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I have no idea how to get out of this, mess. Which it's not a bad thing by any means, but, going into college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I had no idea about sales. I, just recently discovered, about the industry and I hopped on. I didn't, hesitate. I took a leap and it was worth it. I mean, the worst case I was looking at is I'm wasting, a month of my life.
If it goes bad.
Yeah, if it goes bad, worst case, I waste a month of my life and I end up with a life insurance license. And that's how I looked at it. And, going to college allowed me to meet a lot of like-minded people. So a lot of people who are like, hey, I have these goals. And I'm like, that's crazy because I have that too. Like, how are you going to do it? And, bouncing network. Figure out what you're into, figure out what your plans are. So it's a lot of trial and error. 4 or 5 years in college is a lot of trial and error. It also forces you to become independent, which is a big thing, right now. Getting out of, mom and dad's house helps out a lot too there. So
I got you. So one of the reasons why I asked about to bring up college once again is, I didn't finish school. But even though I didn't finish school, some of the things that I remember is some of the friendships I made and how they are still impactful, even though I wasn't able to go through school, able to finish school, and I still am in contact with them. But I like what you said about like-minded. That's one thing I realized while I was there. I definitely ran into a lot of people who thought like I did, who want to be interested in some of the similar things that I could have never imagined, and still that friendship carries me on. And we're all competitive to a certain degree. And I definitely say you don't never want to go somewhere and see all your friends become successful, and
you're left out,
and you get left out. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of still pushed me, and I want to see how it kind of affects you still. I know you say you still live or in contact with some of the people. How does it still impact even after college with your friend group?
Yeah, I mean, so I met a lot of people through a fraternity here. I went to MTSU, and I still live with some of those guys. I still, keep in contact with some of the guys. At the end of the day, we had a lot of fun together, but at the same time, we're one big network. Those guys are people that, if I need a pressure washing job, they're going to be able to take care of me.
100%.
We can go down the road, down the whole line. There's, different industries. Everybody, like I said, everybody's like-minded, but they all have different goals and how they're going to get there. So everybody's, now that I'm graduated, everybody's kind of branched out doing their own thing. So it's good to network, have that, keep in touch.
100%.
And some are, a lot very interested in the life insurance. They're coming to me, asking for advice, asking, how did you become successful so fast? How do I get to where you are? So it's very cool that even though we all have gone our separate ways, we all are still very close knit. Mm-hmm. And, at the same time, we've all matured a lot, and we want to get to that, next tax bracket.
I got you, completely understand. So coming to flip the script real quick. So I know you're doing life insurance. When we have these conversations with most of our friends and talk about life insurance, the first thing most people say is life insurance is a scam. What would you respond to that and say?
I mean, it's perspective, how people look at it. It's always great to have something in place at a young age when you can just throw $20 a month and get this fat policy. But to each their own. Some people wait till late 70s, and at that point you're paying hundreds of dollars a month for a smaller policy. So it's good to be proactive. It's more of a proactive approach.
Okay.
When you're looking at that. And life insurance is one of the biggest keys to generational wealth. When you look at it as a whole, that's how the rich stay rich, and that's why the poor stay poor, is because of that right there.
I was getting ready to ask you that. I saw a post that said when you die, two things are going to happen. You're going to either be a burden for someone, or you're going to be a blessing.
Right.
And through death, you can pass down wealth and kind of not necessarily create complete generational wealth, but just get the next generation a little head start to make things a little bit easier as well. Right. What you say about that as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's 100% facts. And, you can even look at it, somebody with a multi-million-dollar business could not have the insurance and leave their family with mounds and mounds of debt. You take that initiative. You got to be proactive, and you can't wait for something bad to happen. And that's the thing about life insurance, is it's not let me wait for something bad to happen and then I'm going to get it. It's, hey, it's probably in your budget, $20 a month. Mm-hmm. That's one less trip to McDonald's every month. So let's just be proactive. If something were to happen, you got a family, got wife, kids, your wife's taking off work, you need to have something in place for the bad, because you never know when there's going to be a bad, but it's kind of just a protection there, and that's kind of how I describe it to most people there.
I got you. So how long have you been in life insurance now, or selling life insurance now?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry now 7 months. Before that, I was in the works of becoming a financial advisor. Okay. So I knew about the industry. I knew this is somewhere where I wanted to go. I just didn't know about exclusively selling life insurance. It's a lot faster, rather than me being at a corporate office working for a company exclusively selling one product. Mm-hmm. That timeline can take days, months, or days, weeks, even sometimes a month or so to get somebody set up with a policy, versus to where I work now, I can make a sale over the phone in 15 minutes.
And still get money in pocket.
Right.
So that's one of the most beautiful things that comes about sales is you put the effort in, the effort comes right back out as well.
Right.
So that's a beautiful sales is completely unlimited.
Oh yeah.
So question, this guy, you gotta dream about this one, okay? In 5 years, where do you see yourself at in life insurance?
Life insurance 5 years from now.
That's a big question you gotta think about now. Put you on the spot.
I'm gonna have an agency.
Okay.
I feel like 5 years from now, I'll be more on back end work, rather helping out my guys on my agency.
Okay.
Still producing six figures. I'm definitely going to be at that point. Right now, I feel like I can. If I have you on the phone, I'm going to sell you.
100%.
And that's where my mind's at. So I'm still going to produce six figures, but as a whole, as an agency, I think we can be sitting at $25 million a year.
I got you. So for the average guy that's in college and high school, what do you say as far as them to go and get a term policy earlier, or you think they should possibly go into the whole life?
Yeah, I mean, so to each their own. It's a budget thing. A life insurance policy is not designed to take food off your plate.
Okay.
Obviously, if you can afford it, if you're young, go for a big old whole life policy, because all that's going to do is lock in your rates.
100%.
And once you have it paid off, it's paid off. You don't have to worry about it. You're just going to accrue that interest over time. Now, if you're more of a blue collar guy or something along the lines of, hey, I climbing up on roofs, hanging off cliffs for a living. It'd make a little bit more.
Cell phone towers.
It would make a little bit more sense for you to get just a jumbo term policy that you just throw $20 a month at, rather than just a fat whole life policy, that you're expecting, everything works out well, you're gonna die.
So for the people who don't understand, can you give them a quick little definition of difference between a term versus a whole life?
Yeah. So to keep it simple, whole life is like it sounds. It's gonna last your whole life. Usually, it's a little bit more expensive. But take that as a grain of salt. It is your separate savings account there, so you do have access to the funds at any time. It's going to earn interest 7%, so better than any bank account. Checking savings, it's going to do you a lot better to put that money in a whole life policy. That first and foremost, it's a life insurance, so it will pay the beneficiary.
Okay.
The death benefit. So that's why it's there. But at the same time, you're earning interest. Term life is more of a temporary. We have it in place for 10, 20, 30 years. And it's a lot cheaper. So you get lower rates, a lot more coverage, but there's no savings. There's not really any benefits, because with whole life, something could happen and they're going to pay you out while you're still alive, rather than term is just going to pay out to your wife, kids. If something bad were to happen, you're not getting any living benefits. You're just getting it if you were to pass, if you're in the ground.
So long story short, term life is if it's the old crap moment, something random happens.
Right.
And a whole life if you plan on using it while you're living.
Right. Term life is more of a, I'm saving money, but this is worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Whole life is an investment.
Okay, see, most people don't understand that. When I heard about it, of course, the first word that comes to mind is always scam, simply because you don't understand exactly how it works and how it can benefit you while you're alive.
Right.
Most people here and think of they're supposed to be used after you pass away, but now you're talking about that it's using as stocks to actually make money while you're alive.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, whole life, depending on what type we're looking at there are some that are affiliated with the market. Okay. That's called an indexed universal life. Now that's there to earn you interest, but it's different than your standard 401k that you have through your corporate work, because it's never actually going to lose money. So
with your whole life policy?
It's a life insurance policy. So when we're looking at 401k, we're thinking of, all right, let's use this as a retirement, but the market's down 30%. What do we do? So what a lot of people do is, add another asset there. That's the indexed universal life. If you're healthy enough to qualify for it, obviously it does take a little bit of underwriting from the company, because they're not just going to hand you $500,000.
Of course not. We wish.
Yeah. So, it's an asset there. So it's never going to lose. It has a 1% floor. So when the market's down like it is right now, rather than seeing a negative 30% on the year, you see a 1% gain. But when the market's up, you're going to see, that 10-20%
100%.
growth.
So listen, guys, this is the man, my man Trey McCracken. He is selling life insurance. This man knows all about it. So once again, he's going to come back on one of the days, and we're going to dive a little more deeper into life insurance. One reason why I brought him on today, because we definitely talked about college and how it kind of ties into what he's doing now. And even though it's not directly, I just wanted to bring it to the forefront to show you that even though you may have a plan that you're doing college, it's just the experience that you get, the people you meet, that kind of can inform your idea and kind of find out what you want to do for life to be more beneficial. Most people do enjoy the corporate life, and that's completely okay. And you have some people like Trey who wants to be a little more aggressive and work a little more harder now, just to be able to attain the type of lifestyle he wants in the future. I saw a commercial a few years ago from Chick-fil-A. And in the Chick-fil-A commercial, it talked about everyone has their story. It doesn't matter what they look like, what they've been through, everyone has their story. And even though we may believe that we're completely different from everyone else, there's a lot of similarities we all have as humans. Okay? And one of the things I want to do on these videos and making this podcast is be able to share other people's stories. Because we never know how our story can impact someone else. You never know how your past and your upbringing may be extremely similar to a person you have never met. And just by being able to share these stories, we may be able to help people in guidance or help them show, if this person can do it,
Right.
I can as
Absolutely.
well. So I definitely want to say thank you for coming to the very first episode. And I do want to leave you with one last saying. Remember, the choices we make today dictates the life and future we live tomorrow. Signing off.